Good morning. How are you all today? Blessings to you, your friends, and family. Thank you for visiting with us again today, and welcome to Bible class with Andre and Betty. We're continuing our studies in the book of 2 Samuel, and we're in chapter 13. And what we will be looking at is the first rape, R-A-P-E, being perpetrated that's written in the scriptures. And so this is the first mention of the crime of rape. And it's just, this is a section of scripture, this is a chapter that always moved me to understand as a woman, even men are raped, but it's a crime against nature. It's horrible. And this is it moves my emotions when I read this chapter of the Bible. So, chapter 13, 2 Samuel. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair or beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. So Amnon is David's first son born, and Absalom is the third son that David had. But altogether, I think he had about 19 sons. But it came to pass after this, after winning the war against the Ammonites in chapter 12, after this, Absalom, the son of David, had this fair sister named Tamar, and Amnon, her half-brother, the son of David, loved her. So Tamar, this is the second Tamar in the Bible. The first woman named Tamar is the one in chapter 38 of Genesis, where Judah had twin sons by his daughter-in-law. Tamar was Judah's daughter-in-law, and this Tamar is a daughter of King David, and her brothers are many. Verse 2, and Amnon was so vexed or disturbed or depressed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. He knew it was a vile and terrible thing that what he wanted to do with her. But here comes verse 3, a first cousin of Amnon. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimea, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man, or he was sly or cunning or crafty. Verse 4, and he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister, letting us know that it was not his blood sister, it was his half-sister. And Jonadab said, this is the craftiness. And Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick, pretend to be sick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand. So Amnon did what Jonadab told him to do in verse 6. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come, and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat it at her hand. Verse 8, so Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour and kneaded it and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. Verse 9, and she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, have all the men from me. And they went every one from him. So he put all the men that was in the house, he put them out. Verse 10, and Amnon said unto Tamar, bring the meat into the chamber, or the bread or the food into the chamber, into the room, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon her brother. Verse 11, and when she had brought them unto him to eat, he grabbed her, or he took hold of her, and said unto her, come, lie with me, my sister, lay down with me, my sister. Verse 12, and she answered him, no, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not this folly. Verse 13, and I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. So ask the king to let me be your wife. Don't rape me. Don't force me into something and make me feel shame. And it makes women or men feel shame when they are, and children, when they're abused by someone stronger than them. Verse 14, howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. 15, then Amnon hated her exceedingly, because what he did made him see how wicked he was. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Amnon said unto him, arise, be gone, get out of here. Verse 16, and she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not listen or hearken unto her. Verse 17, then he called his servant that ministered unto him, and said, put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her. So what he did to her showed him, I'm repeating, that what he was thinking and doing and had done was a crime against her. Verse 18, and she had a garment of divers colors upon her. For with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled or dressed. Then his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes, she's mourning. Tamar put ashes on her head and tore or rent her garment of divers colors that was on her, because now she's no more virgin, and laid her hand on her head and went on crying. Oh my God. Verse 20. And Absalom, her brother, said unto her, Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? But hold now thy peace, my sister. Don't tell anybody. And this is why even today, when people are abused that way, they'll get threatened. Maybe they'll threaten something, but won't let them tell anybody. And that's a way of people taking advantage of other people. So Absalom told his sister to hold her peace, and he said, because he is thy brother, regard not the thing. Don't even think about what just happened. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. She was mourning until the day she died. Verse 21, but when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth. Verse 22, and Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar. So these are brothers that's hating each other. Verse 23, and it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazor, which is beside Ephraim, and Absalom invited all the king's sons. So he's been fretting over this for 2 years. And Absalom came to the king and said, Behold now, thy servant had sheep shearers. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant, go with me. Verse 25, and the king said to Absalom, No, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be too expensive for you, or we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him, howbeit David would not go, but blessed him. Now, David knew about what had happened to Tamar, and now Absalom is about to take vengeance on his brother Amnon. And so, verse 26 says, Then said Absalom, If not, I pray thee, speaking to his father, let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said unto him, Why should he go with thee? Because he knew what had happened. 27, but Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Verse 28 is parenthetical. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, Mark ye now when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say unto you, Smite Amnon, then kill him, fear not. Have not I commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant. Verse 29. And the servants of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man gat him upon his mule, and fled. Verse 30. And it came to pass, while they were in the way, that news came, or reports came to David saying, Absalom has slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left, which is not true. Verse 31. Then the king arose and tare his garments and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood by with their clothes torn to the signs of mourning and grieving. 32. Now Jonadab is going to come back and try to ingratiate himself with David. And Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my Lord suppose that they have slain all the young men of the king's house, of the king's sons, for Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom, this has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. Verse 33. Now, therefore, let my Lord the king, this is Jonadab talking to David. Now, therefore, let not my Lord the king take this thing to his heart, to think that all of the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. Verse 34, but Absalom fled, and the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said unto the king, Behold, the king's sons come, as thy servant said, so it is. And he's the one who gave Amnon the plot to set his sister up for him to take advantage of. Verse 36. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept very bitterly or sore. Verse 37. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, king of Geshur, and David mourned for his son every day for Absalom, he mourned for Absalom, not for Amnon. 38. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur and was there 3 years. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. And so this is the second son that has died since David's episode with Bathsheba. So next time we'll just continue these chapters, and at what time we come to a conclusion, we'll go somewhere else in the Word of God. So thank you all for listening. I'm really emotional now reading this chapter. So you all have a great day and a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.